creative souls, it's Pollyanna Blanco, and I'm here today to talk to you about chakras. What are chakras? There's so much that's been written on them. They're very ancient. They're discussed across a multitude of cultures, sometimes under different names, such as in the Mayan culture they call them chakras. But basically they are energy centers in the body. And the word chakra itself comes from Sanskrit and means wheel of light. And while there are many chakras in our energetic system, there are 7 major in-body chakras. So let's start with those first. And these energy centers known as chakras line up along our spine. Our front chakras send out information, and the chakras on the back of us receive information from the world around us. We send and receive information within our body, as well as receiving and sending it with the world around us. In this way, we are broadcasting stations. So let's get started and learn more about how we are messengers of light. The very first chakra is located at the base of our spine, and it's called the root chakra. The root chakra is described as being red in color. And then the second chakra, which is orange in color and is referred to as the sacral chakra, it's located around the navel area, just a little bit below. Then we move up to just beneath our rib cage area, and we have the solar plexus chakra, which is yellow in color. And then as we move up to our heart center, right in the center of our chest, we have our heart chakra, which is often described as green. On some occasions, I've even heard it described as pink, but that seems to be very rare. It's generally agreed and described as being green. And then we move up to our throat area, and the throat chakra is often described as being kind of like a sky blue. From there we move on up to our third eye area, which is often described as being like an indigo eye, yeah, it's a third eye, indigo color, and it's located between our 2 eyebrows just right here, maybe even a touch above. And then we also move into our crown chakra, which is literally the crown of our head, and depending on the tradition that is describing it, it has often been described as violet, but it's also been described as white. So there are some differences amongst systems to talk about chakras. How do they impact us? Well, they impact our digestive system, they impact our nervous system, they impact our respiratory system, they impact our lymphatic system, our just pretty much every system that you can think of, quite frankly, because they also connect with the meridians in the body, which are other types of energy centers in the body, and net eyes. So I think what this brings us to at this moment in time is the acknowledgement that, you know, from a biological perspective, we can describe ourselves as human beings, as being magnetic, chemical, and electrical. And so what the chakra system really is describing is our nature as electrical beings, both within the body and beyond. For while these chakras are descriptions of energy centers that relate to different organs in our body and different biological processes that happen in our body and how the energy sort of translates and moves through them or gets stuck in them, at the same time, chakras don't physically exist on a sort of a concrete level. So that's where sometimes, you know, people can dismiss them because, again, we live still to some degree in a Newtonian universe, although that's changing quite a bit. But a lot of what we've been taught in school has been that if you can't see it, touch it, taste it, feel it with the 5 senses, it doesn't exist. And so from that school of thought, chakras are, you know, very esoteric and of the non-physical, which is true. It's just a question of your perception and whether or not, you know, you pay equal heed and place an equal value on the importance of the energetic, because everything is dancing together. I think that quantum physics and has really opened our eyes to the fact that we are so much more than what we appear to be. We are a particle and a wave, and in that sense too, we are so much more than what you can touch, taste, smell, hear, in the five senses way. We are that extension beyond that sixth sense and beyond. So in terms of how they can help you with your creativity is how you literally are using your energy. And Bruce Lipton talks about our energy as being like a bank account. I was watching a video recently with him, and I really admire and respect his work. He is a new biologist, and he really sees that marriage between quantum mechanics and biology, because he understands that we're energy beings. And so the way he describes it, and this really makes a lot of sense to me too, is that we are energetic beings, and we have so much energy in a day. And I think that's something we can all relate to, because quite frankly, we know when we're exhausted. Sometimes we push past when we're exhausted. We know when we're feeling bored or unmotivated or stuck. There's a certain energy. We know when we're feeling joyous, happy, and excited, and sparked and inspired. That's again another kind of energy. So I think for a lot of us, until we become more conscious that we have these energy centers in our body, what can happen is that we can feel that life is coming at us, happening to us, and then that can lead to all kinds of other thought processes along the lines of, life happens to me, I'm a victim, and then we don't open our consciousness beyond that to learning more about how multidimensional we are, which really would free us from that potential, suffering, really. Because once we can recognize that we are energetic, and our energetic being, which I'll talk more about in another video, there are energy bodies around us as well as the chakras, and they relate to the chakras. But to keep it real simple for now, when we are aware that we have an energetic bank account, we make withdrawals every day, and we also make deposits, and how we manage our energy relates to how we work with our chakras. So knowing about our chakras can be really helpful, and especially from the point of view, who doesn't want to have some sort of sense of balance or harmony in their life? A lot of us, myself included, have struggled with feeling out of balance, out of harmony, out of sync, out of alignment. And that's reflected in the energetic centers of our chakras too. Because ideally when they're in harmony and alignment and flow, what happens is that we manifest things easily, we create things easily, we feel inspiration, and the inspiration comes through the crown chakra. We envision it here in the third eye with our active imagination. We then speak it because we trust what we see, we trust our own inner seeing, we speak it and give it sound. Sound gives it form, which we then, flesh out with passionate action, which starts in the heart. We start getting into a dance, into a relationship with it, because we start engaging with the energies. The heart chakra is all about relationship and how we are in relationship to different energies in our life. And then from there, we drop it into like the real 3D chakras, the solar plexus, the willpower to not just have the idea, but to start taking baby steps and snap, let's get going. Let's get out our sketchbook or put up our easel or get on some music and start moving around to it, whatever the case might be, or whipping out some food and starting to play around with the ingredients. And then that goes down into our sacral chakra, which is, our ability to feel the sweetness of life, to really engage in the flow, the creative flow of what we're stepping into, and then finally drop it down into the root chakra, which is voila, manifested here on the earth plane. And so this is how we bring things into being, using an awareness of our chakra system. Now, isn't it absolutely splendid when that all flows and happens naturally, easily? regardless of, what we do with our creation from there, if that's just one step in the process that we're going to repeat many times and refine. But what can happen along the way is we can get stuck. And this is what I see for many people, myself included. I told you, it took me, if you watch my first video, very candidly, it took me 10 years to write my first book. I will share more in another video about why it was so hard for me to get the darn book out of me. And that was an interesting process, and I'm sure some of you can really relate to that. Even getting the first video posts out for this channel I've been dreaming of forever. Finally, okay, it's happening. What shifted, what changed within me that made this happen now and not 2 years ago or 3 months ago or 4 years from now? Thank goodness it didn't take that long. So it's understanding that it is an inner job. So I hope that helps give you a taste. There's a lot more to come. I'm going to focus in future videos on specific chakras so that you can get a more specific sense of how they relate to your life and your creative journey. But for now, that's sort of an overview of everything. And I hope that it starts to shed a little bit of light and allow you to get curious, because curiosity is the best ingredient in the creative process. So stay tuned for more. Thank you for listening. Namaste. In Lakek Alakin, I'm another you and you're another me. Keep dancing the creative path and keep honoring that creative impulse inside of you. I am here to support you, to provide you with tools, inspirations, motivations, and guidance to help you keep on keeping on the creative path, because the world needs you more than ever to be your most creative, most best expanded version of you that you can be. Please share what your impulse is asking you to share and add more beauty and uniqueness to this wonderful world. Thank you. All the best.